Hello everyone, this is Krusty783 here, and we have a new episode of Ninjago Crystalized in English. I'm not going to be doing reviews and breakdowns of the Cantonese episodes, I'm just going to wait for October to do that. But for the time being, we have a new episode in English, episode 17, The Coming of the King. Just before we get into this video, know that this video will contain full spoilers for the episode, so if you're holding off on spoilers or want to wait until the Netflix release and just stuff like that, be sure to click off the video now, you've been warned. Right, with that out of the way, let's get into my thoughts. So this episode starts us off right hot off the heels of episode 16, Darkness Within, with Lloyd being completely dumbstruck at the fact that the Overlord is back. Lloyd and the Overlord talk about the Overlord's backstory along with their past battles such as Season 2 and Rebooted, and how the first Spinjitzu Master lost against him, his father lost against him, and how Lloyd couldn't stop him. The Overlord tries to intimidate Lloyd by doing a show of his power. The first thing he does is gives the Crystal Council new uniforms and gives them their crystallized golden weapons, which are fully powered up now, and then he rises the Oni Temple out of the ground and suspends it in midair. And this scene is just so sick. The Crystal Council spends a quick little bit of time gossiping about the rising of the temple and who's the more impressive of the council, which the mechanic has a really awesome line in.
King of this, empress of that. Where I come from, we call people like you kiss-ups.
And then after this, the Overlord gives Lloyd a pretty clear-cut and simple choice. He can either join him and serve by his side, much like Harumi, or he can be killed right here and now. What's interesting to me is that during this episode, Harumi really doesn't want to see Lloyd killed. And whenever they mention the idea of him being killed, she gets really worried about it. This is kind of interesting to me because she never really cared for Lloyd originally.
Let her go! This is between us!
No, Lloyd. There was never anything between us.
So I think that eliminates the idea that Harumi genuinely does care for Lloyd as a person. And I think this is more like around the idea that she cares about keeping him around to make him suffer and manipulate him. Screwing with Lloyd is a way that Harumi's able to feel in control pretty frequently in these seasons whenever she appears, and the way the Overlord has kind of just taken all of her control away, I think this might be her holding on to what little control she has left through Lloyd. That's just my reading of the situation though. I could be wrong, but I really hope I'm not, because I think if they retcon it that she did care for Lloyd this whole time, I think that would seriously be awful. Anyways, Lloyd escapes and the Crystal King sends the Council of the Crystal King after them, and then he has a talk with Harumi about Lloyd. Harumi argues that they should keep Lloyd alive and keep trying to turn him to the dark side because he can be used as a very powerful ally to the council. The Crystal King wants none of this crap and just wants the little green pest gone already. Harumi is then sent to chase Lloyd with the rest of the council. We then get a really great chase scene between Lloyd and all of the members of the Crystal Council with some really great fights spliced into it. A particular standout to me is the one-on-one Lloyd and Mr. F have. This fight is really good in terms of choreography. We then get a quick scene spliced in of the Overlord gloating about how good his and Harumi's plans were, and bringing the Vengestone army to life. Lloyd tries to convince the Crystal Council that what they're doing is wrong and that the Overlord is going to destroy and betray all of them eventually, but they don't listen, because in their eyes, they're not going to destroy them. The mechanic has a really great line about this in particular.
He will destroy everything!
Except us. That's why we joined him.
After the mechanic takes his third epic win of the episode, all of the villains try to throw the weapons at Lloyd at the same time. Lloyd jumps over the blast and it knocks them all off their feet. Harumi shows up and berates the other villains for having not prepared for this, and then she tells them to go the way Lloyd didn't go so she can chase him himself. After Lloyd's first encounter with a Vengestone soldier, Lloyd finds himself in the mouth of the Oni Temple, one of the last places Lloyd and Harumi were before Harumi took the mask off. One thing that's worth noting about the mouth entrance of the Oni Temple is that since we were last here in Season 8, it's had some serious renovations. I mean seriously, whatever evil contractor they got on board for renovating the Oni Temple seriously outdid himself. This brings us to the most important scene of the episode, where Lloyd and Harumi have a one-on-one conversation about Lloyd's allegiances. Harumi near desperately tries to convince Lloyd to join the council, and Lloyd is having absolutely none of it, and is looking for ways to escape. Harumi mentions that if Lloyd jumps down off the temple, he will probably die from the fall, but Lloyd notes that there's water there. And so, he says, "I hope you're wrong," grabs Harumi, and then jumps down with her. This scene I think is really good because it shows Lloyd really taking the first steps to kind of separate himself from really caring about Harumi, and it also shows that Harumi's really freaking out, starting to lose control of the last thing she has control over. So yeah, if my reading of the scene is correct, I really like it and I think it does a really good job at advancing the relationship between these two characters. Although if it does end up leading to Lloyd and Harumi getting together, then After Lloyd and Harumi land safely in the water in a scene very similar to the one where they go in the water in Primeval's Eye in Season 8, we cut back to the Samurai X cave, where the ninja realise that the tracker is now picking up Lloyd again now he's out of the Oni temple. They advise that the only way to get to Primeval's Eye to save him is that they need to go to the police impound and steal the bounty and their other vehicles back. They ask Wu if he's up for it and breaking the law because he wasn't the last time. Wu says he was, and the episode ends. Overall, while at the minute I think this episode is very good, my opinion on it is largely going to be dictated by where the rest of the plot goes. For example, if the Lloyd and Harumi scenes in this episode end up leading to Lloyd and Harumi happening and becoming a relationship, I'll probably look back on this episode very negatively. However, if they go in the direction of Harumi is a manipulator and Lloyd leaves to let go, I will probably love this episode in hindsight. At the minute, I think it's a pretty damn good episode with a lot going for it, but my opinion on it is largely going to depend by where the plot goes in the other episodes. That's just what I think though. Be sure to let me know what your thoughts on Ninjago Crystalized episode 17, The Coming of the King, are in the comments down below. Did you like it? Did you dislike it? And what did you like or dislike about it? Be sure to sound off in the comments down below. Thank you to my wonderful channel members whose names are on screen now. If you want to get membership, hit the join button or do not feel pressured to. If you like this video, be sure to leave a like on it and share it with a friend who is okay with spoilers for this episode if you found it interesting enough to do so. Thank you so much for watching everyone, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye for now.